Supreme Court has given a landmark order which says all government departments, public sector units have to reserve 3% jobs, 1% for the blind, 1 for the hearing impaired and 1 for those with locomotive disability. It's being hailed by many as a positive step for the approximately 4 crore disabled population in the country. But many are asking, is this enough? Why was the government sitting on it for 19 years and waiting and not implementing it? We'll bring you both sides of the story in just a bit. We also have our pundits joining us. But before we go to them, let's get a quick reaction and see how people have taken this landmark verdict.
"42-year-old Nilesh Singit has a master's degree in literature, has dabbled in law and done studies on disability issues. But Nilesh is unemployed. The Supreme Court's decision of a 3% reservation in government jobs for disabled, he says, still does not mean a chance for people like him. People with a severe disability like cerebral palsy.
It's too good to be true, but I don't think it will work. The way it has been formulated, people with lesser disabilities will get all the jobs. People with severe disabilities like me will again be left out. The government doesn't want to give you facilities. They don't mind doing a ramp here and there, but when it comes to real support, like there are a lot of people who are blind, they are not given JAWS software. I mean, the JAWS software is actually, if they don't have it, they cannot use the computer. So either they have to kind of just quit the job or continue with whatever little work they are being given.
It's estimated that there are at least 4 crore disabled people in our country, and very often it is the social and the practical problems that come in the way of them getting a job rather than their disability. Practical problems like having access or having a toilet.
And without these basics, the constant legal struggle to provide a level playing field to the disabled means little.
This is not a new thing. This judgment has come now. However, the 3% reservation has been there. It's been there for, 20 years almost. What has happened to it?
And that's perhaps the test. For 2 decades now, the government has failed to implement its own act. So will it begin now? In Mumbai, Miloni Bhatt for NDTV.
So our pundits this evening on this story, we have S.K. Rungta, of course. He's the president of the Asian Blind Union and he's the one who fought for this in Supreme Court. We also have somebody who's an activist who used to be founder of the Spastic Society of India, Dr. Mithu Allur, who says a lot more needs to be done. So this isn't as positive a step as it's made out to be. And of course, Chief Commissioner for Persons with Disabilities, Prasanna Kumar Pincha, he joins us as well. That brings us to our first talking point this evening. The question that we're asking, 3% quotas, why is it a win for disability rights? Why do you think so, Mr. Rungta?
I think that this is a win for disability rights because of 2 reasons. First, it is right to say that this battle has lingered on for 18 years after the act came into force. But it is also equally right to see the pronouncement when it has settled all the outstanding issues which were the bottlenecks being raised by the government functionaries to delay the implementation of scheme of reservation. The second point that I want to make, which makes this judgment historic and a win for persons with disabilities, is that the manner of computation and legal wrangles and constitutional issues around the implementation have now been settled by the apex court.
So we don't have to wait another 17 months.
We don't have to.
Okay, Dr. Allur, why don't you agree with this?
I don't agree because, as was mentioned by a very clever student just now, is that the multiply disabled has not come into the picture at all. There's no clarity. It's always been like this, very ambiguous and terribly sort of visually blind centric, the whole thing. It's
Oh,
not
really?
Yeah,
Even
it's always been blind centric.
But they say the order says, when we look through the order, it says 1% for the visually impaired, 1 for the hearing impaired, and 1 for those with locomotive disabilities.
Yes, but when you have multiple disability, you also have not only locomotor, you have speech. I mean, you have something a bit like Stephen Hawking's.
Right.
So in this country, of course, they have not absolutely addressed the Stephen Hawking type of multiple disability.
Right.
And you also have major leading posts being only reserved for the visually challenged, and this is why it was quite poignant hearing Nilesh speak, because he is extremely bright, but he would never be considered to for the post of, say, commissioner.
So that's one major drawback
of disability.
Well, Mr. Pincher, the commissioner, you pointed out a huge loophole. Meetu Allura is pointing out one. You also pointed out a huge loophole which this judgment ignores. Tell us about that.
No, I'm not saying this judgment ignores. I was actually trying to say as to what happens to my right as a person with a disability to compete purely on merit in respect or against a post which is neither reserved nor identified, because as per, you see, I am holding a copy of a braille copy of an office memorandum
Yes.
of 29 December 2005 of the
Act.
Department of Personnel and Training,
Okay.
which actually debars a person with a disability. By implication, it debars
So
a person with disability from
can't
competing against a post even on merit which is neither reserved nor identified.